Where's all the fucking loot? Yo, Brimthen, can you show me your interchange run, bro? I'm fucking lost here, dog.
Brimthen TikTok. What?
Okay, dude. And anybody that wants to watch this, 2 things I'm going to need you to do. First things first, get the flea market. And one of the cool things you can do at the flea market is go in here to like barter items, sort by price, and then right click on anything under 20k and put this little recycler symbol on it. That lets me know that it's under 20,000 rubles. And I just go down the list and right click on things and hit barter. The only things that I don't have with the recycle thingy is things that are used in my hideout or starred for Kappa quests, hideout like things that I need. I'll star them, but things that are kind of worthless, I will, you know, right click and barter. And if you don't want the fuel tanks there, I recommend setting your stuff up here to any currency, condition 100, show only functional items, and remember select it like that. And then you'll have like the best filters. So do that first. All right. So this is going to be a play along. So I want you to go and click on Interchange, click on any of the daytimes, enable practice mode for this raid, game settings, no AI. All right, in an offline raid, I want you to travel to the front of Idea right here, right where the go-karts is. And I want you to pause the video, and when you get here, start the video back up. Now, we're going to pretend like we have spawned somewhere at Railway or maybe even over at Scav Camp, and we're entering in from this doorway right here, okay? Every doorway you enter in from is going to change the route and change where you loot. We're going to loot every single spot by doing the whole circle. So you're going to see some stuff over a second time, but just note that wherever you enter from, if I enter from Ollie, I'm still going to enter into the circle, and I'm still going to end up going some sort of way. Does that make sense? So, entering from right here, we're going to start, and we're going to head left. And we're going to hit the triple duffels. So, duffel 1, duffel 2, and then there's going to be, duffel 2 is on that right there. And then duffel 2 is going to be in here. Coming out of this, we're going to go immediately to that doorway. Even though there's a weapon case back there, and a weapon case over there, and weapon cases through there, we're not doing those right now. We're going to do those in a little bit. That's coming from a different angle. So, duffel bag can spawn there. I usually don't loot the weapon box that spawns in that back right-hand corner for time, because duffel bags are more important than weapon cases. But, also food spawns right here if you ever need food. Then you have weapon box again. And then you have weapon box again. Then you have weapon box again. Weapon box again. Weapon box again. Sometimes a scope. Also check the tables inside there that could be scopes. I will then go down this way and backtrack backwards. So let me show this real fast. First thing I do from this spot is I check the back of this. There can be a weapon box there. Weapon box here. Weapon box there. Weapon box here. And you can run this with a duo and just do every other box. Weapon box there. And every other box, you know, you half out all the loot like that. Or you can drop bags and trade off at the end or whatever. But there's really... it takes about 20 minutes to loot the whole underside of the basement. Anything less than that, and you're definitely going to have to avoid picking up everything. Like you'll run out of time. So, weapon box up top of here. Also, you can get weapon parts here. I only come over there if I see a scope. You know, unless I see something I specifically know, I don't waste time doing that. Going back here, we got duffel bag. You got a grenade case that spawns there, a weapon box that spawns there. You got an ammo box that spawns there. You got a grenade case that spawns here. And you got a weapon box that spawns in this new staircase. Because the map is slightly old, the staircase isn't in there. As well as the underway. So there is a duffel bag that spawns there. There's a grenade case that spawns there. There's a weapon box that spawns there. I usually will go from that over to here to get the med case. There can be a morphine or stim spawn there. There is a duffel bag that spawns there. A weapon box that spawns there. And then usually I'll just do this little run right here. There can be a sledgehammer and some of your higher end tech supplies there. Weapon box, and then a green box can spawn there. A grenade case can spawn on the bumper. Med case. And then up top of here is almost always a weapon box. As well as loose loot weapon supplies, again scopes. And then usually what I'll do is hit this med bag that spawns in here. I will then cross the way. If you're going for toolboxes, there's a toolbox that can spawn in that. There is also a bunch of toolboxes in the back over here in the power section. But I always come down this way and I check to see if I can spot a weapon box that spawns there and the duffel bag that spawns there. If they don't, then I go on and move on. There's also a duffel that spawns there. And then always vault at this pole. Don't vault up higher, you will break your legs. Back here is a duffel bag. Always vault this, never jump. You will bump your head and get stuck and do weird stuff, and only one person should go in there. This is Tagilla's new area. The place on my map is very old before Tagilla now, and there is high value spawns back here, but I have lately just been avoiding this area because like other player scavs are running over here and Tagilla could still be in there, and I kind of just avoid all that mess. There's a duffel bag that spawns there. Grenade box spawns there. Loose loot here looking for like lasers and scopes. Duffel bag here. I usually peek over here to see if there's a duffel bag there. Duffel bag does spawn up there if you're really like time consuming and got enough time, you can check that duffel. There used to be a box back here, but it's gone. Oh, it's moved to here. This is new for me. They've moved the box that used to be there to right there. Nice. I'll add that to my reminder in the future. Then there is a box here. And then a box back here. Oh. And then from there, I usually go down here and I take a look to see if I spot the duffel bag that's there. You can see it from here. So like, if I don't see it, I just go ahead and start chucking. Otherwise, I'll run down there and then I'll run around. There ain't nothing else in this area until you get to these boxes here. We'll show now. Being a duffel bag here. And then right here is another big box. There's another beautiful grenade case there, but I usually don't loot that unless I'm double backing. If I know I'm exiting through Emercom, like time is short, then I'll check this. I'll check the duffel bag that's here, and I'll check the duffel bag that's here, and then make my decision of whether or not I want to risk going in front of the ramp here, because this is where a lot of your players and stuff are, and you can get that med box there, There's another duffel that's in there, and then there's like another grenade case and stuff that's in there. But I usually just ignore those because of danger. And I usually just get this weapon box, this duffel, and then I'll double backwards. And I will head this way. To Duffel Bag Alley, the place where I make most of my money. This is a mandatory search every single time you do the run. There is a duffel bag here. There is a duffel bag there. There's a weapon box behind here if you go around and check. Weapon box. And then there is a duffel that spawns there. Duffel that spawns there. And duffel bags are where we make most of our money. There's a duffel bag that spawns between the two tires of this truck trailer here. That is my favorite spot because like nobody ever loots that. Like who the hell is gonna loot that? Duffel bag there. Weapon box there. Weapon box there. Duffel bag can spawn there. We go up the staircase. This has been made easier now that we have vaulting. I used to have to jump on this in like a weird way to get on top of that handle and then get up here and then jump up to here. But now it's super easy and we get that duffel bag. And then I usually jump out, run down this way. And this is only if I have enough time because sometimes by the time you get to right here, you're running out of time. But there's a duffel that spawns there. There's a weapon box that spawns there. And then I'll usually go to Intercom, you know? I'll usually go to Intercom or if I do the opposite direction, I would do Railway. But that's pretty much the run, man. Like, that's pretty well everything I usually get to loot. There is more loot down here, though. And we're going to go over the things that I didn't look at a second ago. In this little camp right here, you'll find a lot of Saluas, morphines, and stuff like that. But most importantly, there can be a intel folder sitting on this desk. I'm not really too sure about this new area. I'm still finding new stuff and seeing what other people are putting. But like, you can find ammunitions and stuff here. There's usually like another duffel weapon box and then like another weapon box in the back here. This area is not bad to loot, but it's also contested because a lot of players come here. So most of the time I just avoid it because there's like so much stuff to loot back there as you just saw. On to the next spot. If I come in from this side, I will usually run over here to this dead scav, which is a very rare grab, but there's a dead scav that sits right here. And then I'll usually run from there and head over this little camp area, because there's not a lot in this area particularly to loot. So if you avoid this area, it's completely understandable. I hardly ever loot it, but there's a weapon box that can be inside that van. There is, I think a weapon box spawns on that. I can't remember too well, but I know that a green box can spawn there. I know that a weapon box can spawn up here, and then there should be a big box that always spawns right there. But that's like it. There ain't a whole lot in this area, and like D is kind of barren for loot. So I kind of avoid it for the most part. I very rarely loot under the ramp here, but there is like a dead scav, a grenade box, and a duffel. This whole area here in C is pretty like semi-dangerous to be in because it's a high traffic area for players killa farming and running to exits and stuff. So I usually kind of avoid the high pop areas, you know what I mean? There's a weapon box that can spawn here, and in some of my routes I end up taking. Sometimes I have enough time. There's a weapon box that can spawn right there, and there's a weapon box that spawns back there. Okay, so here we are in B, where those 3 tents are, you know, where we do the jump up for this thing. I'll usually, if I spawn back at power and I come in from that side and I hit the med cases first, jump up here and check this, and then when I jump down, I'll run this way, and then I'll hit the weapon box that's here, I'll hit the weapon box that spawns here, and then I'll hit the weapon box that spawns behind the porta potty that I was talking about earlier. Bang. And then I will wrap over to the 3 duffels that we started at the start, and then hook back around and go through the route like you just saw it, you know, type deal. And go all the way like you just seen. If I spawn this side, I'll usually hit that, and then I usually avoid these 3 weapon boxes unless I'm like on PMC and have a lot of time. Everything's based on time. The most important thing is to be in Duffel Bag Alley with like 6 minutes left on the raid. If you're not at Duffel Bag Alley with 6 minutes left on the raid, you're not going to be able to loot all of Duffel Bag Alley and get out in enough time. But I like if I loot Duffel Bag Alley first, as like I spawn down there at Emercom, then you can really just run this route just pretty much however you'd like to, and then end it at these duffels and go out through railway basically. And I'm gonna show 2 more things before I leave. Alright, let's say I spawn at power right here. I'm gonna run into the building first. I'm gonna immediately check the 3 computers. So there's one that can spawn there, one that can spawn there, and then one that can spawn behind this door right here in that little cubby. I'll check the jacket. Sometimes I'll loot the cabinets, but very rarely because cabinets just take too long. I'll loot the jackets, and then I'll loot these toolboxes that's here. I think another one spawns somewhere back here, or like in here somewhere. You'll see. You'll just look for the toolboxes. If you don't see them, you don't see them. But then I'll run back through here, and I'll start the run from here. I'll go back here, and there's going to be a duffel bag here, sometimes. There's going to be a buried cache here. You can find food and water if you're running low here, as well as rat colas apparently. And then back here is going to be some of your toolboxes. I think one spawns there, or there, and then one spawns like there. And then just kind of run through here and peek for toolboxes. I don't have the exact spawns down to a science like the other spots, but I just kind of just run through, and if I see something, I see something. But the main spots to check is what I'm pointing out, basically. In here, you'll find 2 more toolboxes, one here and one here. You'll find another toolbox here. You'll find a weapon case there. And then you can find a buried cache sometimes right in here somewhere. I'm not super familiar. And then I think you can find like another buried cache, like right there's a buried cache, you see. If you have the key to this, you can open up the power room and get another weapon box, but nobody ever has that key. That's why it's so cheap. There's also a weapon cache, or a buried cache that can spawn right in here in this bush. And then usually from here, I will start the run at the med bags, running in to this way. I'll check for that toolbox I talked about earlier. Check the duffel right here, the weapon and the duffel there. And then I'll go in and start the run from the jump up med bag. Because when you go in here, you'll see the first med bag, then the other 2 med bags off the side. And I'll start the run from there, and I'll run through the whole building. And that's pretty much like every way I would run it. So if you want to see a genuine run, just come to my Twitch and say, hey, I want to see your Interchange run live, and I'll just run a quick 15-minute scav and show you exactly how I handle the scav. Come stop by the Twitch, Kick, TikTok, YouTube, anywhere, and the map and more guidance is on my Discord. Link in the description. If this video helped you in any sort of way, considering like, commenting, subscribing, following on my Kick, Twitch, YouTube, whatever you can find down in the description. And just to let you know, this back here, this is where my dog likes to shit all the time. He likes to shit about 3 acres away from the house for some reason. So we bring him out here, and he likes to take and drop one
in almost a grid pattern. If you walk out here and walk just a couple steps, you'll find a pile, and if you walk another couple steps, you'll find a pile. There's probably about 5 years worth of shit in this field right here. Anyway, thought you want to know.